Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the hidden stories within corporate filings. September 2025 brings us an interesting look at LCI Industries, and let S just say V got a presentation to share. That might explain a few things. Before we dive in, if you like getting straight talk about what is really going on behind the corporate curtain, make sure you are subscribed and check out our Discord community linked in the description below. That is where the real conversation happens. Alright, our main event today is a look at what LCI Industries, or LCII as it is traded on the New York Stock Exchange, has to say in its latest current report, a Form 8K. Now, this is going to be a deep financial statement dive like a 10Q or 10K, but it does point us to an investor presentation. Think of this as the company giving us a peek at what they want the investment world to see. The folks at LCI Industries are putting out this information because they need to make sure everyone gets the same important news at the same time. That is what Regulation FD disclosure is all about. It is like making sure no one gets an unfair heads up. What we're focusing on here is really what is inside that investor presentation. It is essentially their way of telling their story and highlighting the key messages they want their investors and potential investors to hear. While the report itself gives us the basics like the company's main office and who is signing off, we are more interested in understanding the narrative. They are based in Elkhart, Indiana, and as you can see here, Lillian D. Etzkorn, their chief financial officer, signed off on this report on the 19th of September 2025. It is important to note that this filing doesn't contain new financial statements, but rather directs us to an exhibit containing slides for an investor presentation. This means the real meat of what we want to analyze today is conveyed through this presentation. LCI Industries common stock is traded under the symbol LCI on the New York Stock Exchange. This tells us they are a publicly traded company, meaning their performance and strategy are of interest to a wide audience and they are accountable to shareholders. The fact that the Chief Financial Officer has signed this report, specifically referencing an investor presentation, signals that the information within those slides is considered material and is being formally communicated to the public. It is their way of managing expectations and sharing their perspective on the company's performance and outlook. Now, because this filing primarily points to an investor presentation, we don't have specific financial tables to break down here. However, the existence of this presentation is a clue in itself. Companies release these sorts of updates to highlight progress, showcase new developments, or address market concerns. What they choose to put in these presentations and what they don't can tell us a lot about their strategic focus and how they perceive their own business. For instance, if they are heavily emphasizing growth in a particular segment, that suggests where their future investments and efforts are likely to be directed. Conversely, if they are downplaying a certain area, it might indicate challenges or a shift in strategy away from that business. Looking at the context for this filing, Form 8, K reports are used for significant corporate events. By directing us to an investor presentation, LCI Industries is likely using this venue to communicate information that they believe is important for investors to know, perhaps related to recent achievements, market positioning, or future plans. What does this mean for LCI Industries? Well, it suggests they are actively managing their public image and shareholder communications. The focus on an investor presentation indicates a proactive stance in shaping the narrative around their company. This can be a strength if the presentation effectively communicates a clear strategy and positive outlook. However, it also means that the real analysis will depend heavily on the content of those actual presentation slides, which we need to examine separately to gauge the company's true health and trajectory. Without those specific slides, we're left with the understanding that they are choosing to communicate their message through this specific channel. Our take on this is that while this filing itself doesn't give us hard numbers to dissect, it tells us that LCI Industries is in communication mode and they selected an investor presentation as their platform. The key takeaway really is their intention to present a particular view of their business. To truly assess where LCI Industries stands, we would need to see the details within that investor deck. Are they highlighting strong revenue growth, successful cost-cutting measures, or perhaps significant new market penetration? Or are they perhaps trying to gloss over some areas? That is the story we'd be looking for in those slides. Alright, that is our quick decode of this LCI Industries filing. It is less about the numbers in front of us and more about the invitation to look deeper into their presentation. What are your thoughts on companies using presentations like this to communicate key information? Do you think it is effective or are you skeptical? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more corporate insights. And remember, our Discord community is always open for deeper discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next decode.